Today, I'm going to be showing you 3 more cheap skins for every gun in CS2, this time under $5. Every skin here will be in field tested unless stated otherwise, and I'll be using Steam's market prices. There are a few skins above $5, but I tried to keep them all under budget, and remember to check third-party sites like skinflow.gg for much cheaper prices. More on that later. Also, remember prices can fluctuate, so prices might not be accurate by the time you see this video. This is also the second iteration of my video that showcases skins under $5, so before you comment that I missed a cool skin, I recommend you watch that video because it might be in that one. So, with all that out the way, let's see some skins. Starting with the P2000, we have Pulse at $2.11. This skin is pretty simple, but I think the green and blue work great together and I love how vibrant it is. Next for the P2000 is Royal Baroque at $2.99. I love how ornate this skin is, and the royal blue and gold just look absolutely amazing paired together. Finally, for the P2000 is Amber Fade at $3.31. I've always thought the Amber Fade skins are underrated. Honestly, the colors are nice and the skin is shiny. Moving on to the USPS, we have Black Lotus at $1.81. This skin is a staple, you've definitely seen it before, and for good reason, it looks fantastic. Next for the USPS is Royal Guard at $7.96. We're unfortunately out of cheap USPS skins, check out the previous video, but I think it might be worth spending a little more on it. Finally, for the USPS is Jawbreaker at $8.20. This is another expensive skin, but I love the colorway on it and the artwork is phenomenal. Moving on to the Glock 18, we have Ocean Topo at 41 cents. This skin is one of my favorites for the Glock. I love how topography looks and the blue is just so nice. Next for the Glock 18 is Coral Bloom at $3.05. This skin kind of reminds me of like a couch your grandma would have. The flowers on it are pretty though. Finally, for the Glock 18 is Shinobu at $6.94. If you like skins like Vogue, Kiss Love, and Sakaku, you'll definitely like this skin. The art is amazing. Moving on to the P250, we have Wingshot at $2.87. I'm not the biggest fan of this skin, but I do like how the yellow looks against the white. Next for the P250 is Red Tide at $3.06. I love the color scheme on this skin, they complement each other so well, and the subtle orange accents are nice. Finally, for the P250 is Epicenter at $7.98. This skin is a bit expensive, but I think it's so worth it because it looks so good. Moving on to the 5.7, we have Triumvirate at $3.45. I think this skin is pretty underrated, but it's unfortunately too expensive for what it is. Next for the 5.7 is Hotshot at $3.64. This skin is really basic, but I love how the bright green contrasts the black and white. Finally, for the 5.7 is Heat Treated at $6.24. This skin is basically a budget case hardened, but I can't deny it's very pretty for the price. Moving on to the Tech 9, we have Avalanche at $2.14. I really like the sporty theme of this skin, it sort of reminds me of the superconductor gloves. Next for the Tech 9 is Whiteout at $4.20. This skin is very simple, it's just white. Unfortunately though, it wears pretty badly. Finally, for the Tech 9 is Bamboo Forest at $5.79. This skin is just as it says. It's got bamboo on it. Fun fact, bamboo is a type of grass. Moving on to the CZ75 Auto, we have Silver in Factory New at $3.70. This skin is basic but pretty. I love shiny skins and the silver line always looks great. Next for the CZ75 Auto is Slalom at $6.04. This skin is a bit pricey, but I do love the coloring and designs on it. Finally, for the CZ75 Auto is Victoria at $6.94. I love ornate skins, and this skin just looks so good. The engravings, the gold, so pretty. Moving on to the dual Berettas, we have Balance at $1.76. This skin is sort of on the opposite spectrum of Victoria, if that makes sense. It's ornate, but a little rough and wild. Next for the dual Berettas is Disaster at $5.25. This skin is just like the SSG skin of the same name. If you're a fan of that, you'll be a fan of this. Finally, for the dual Berettas is Sweet Little Angels at $6.32. I love how colorful and vibrant the skin is, it's so bright and looks great. Moving on to the Desert Eagle, we have heat treated at $1.86. This skin is, again, basically just a budget case hardened that looks a little worse, but you can't beat the price. Next for the Desert Eagle is Mint Fan at $2.99. This design feels like something you'd see on a throw pillow. I'm not a huge fan, but it's not bad. Finally, for the Desert Eagle is Heirloom at $5.67. This skin is simple but beautiful. I love the detailing and the little gold accents. Moving on to the R8 Revolver, we have Memento at $1.35. The engravings on this skin are absolutely beautiful, and I love how shiny it is. Next for the R8 is Phoenix Marker at $3.30. I love the blues and purples on this skin. It's so unfortunate that it's on the R8. Finally, for the R8 is Llama Cannon at $3.75. This skin is Memento if it was just better. I love the blue, the engravings, and the little llama on the side. Moving on to the Zeus, we have Electric Blue at 41 cents. This skin is pretty basic, but I think the blue looks great. Honestly, I think I just have a thing for blue skins. Next for the Zeus is Tosai at 69 cents. The texturing on this skin is really nice. I think it's a little overlooked, and the colors used for the fish look great. Finally, for the Zeus is Charged Up at $4.38. This is probably the most taser-looking Zeus skin. I'm a little surprised it took this long for one. Moving on to the MP9, we have Cobalt Paisley at $2.89. I absolutely love the blue on the skin. I'm so happy the Ascent collection was made. Next for the MP9 is Arctic Tritone at $6.12. This skin is pretty simple, but I love the camo and the gold accents really pop. Finally, for the MP9 is Mount Fuji at $9.30. This skin is a bit expensive, but it's a staple and it might be worth spending a little more on it. Moving on to the Mac 10, we have Saiba Oni at $1.10. The art on this skin is absolutely amazing, and I love the color scheme. Next for the Mac 10 is Poplar Thicket at $1.26. This skin is pretty boring, but it's colorful and the green and yellow look great together. Finally, for the Mac 10 is Derailment at $4.57. This skin is pretty busy, but I really like the red accenting throughout that ties the skin together. Moving on to the PP Bison, we have Brass at 84 cents. This skin is very simple, it's literally just brass, but it's really shiny, which is nice. Next for the PP Bison is Embargo at $1.98. This skin is rough and worn looking, but despite that, I think the blue really pops. Finally, for the PP Bison is Chemical Green at $2.15. This skin is very simple, it's just charcoal against a bright green. It looks fine enough. Moving on to the MP7, we have Abyssal Apparition at $1.88. The yellow and orange on the skin look great, and I like the sort of holographic effect going on. Next for the MP7 is Empire at $3.38. This skin is fittingly covered in little imps, and I'm a big fan of the designs. Very mischievous. Finally, for the MP7 is Asterion at $5.81. I like the blue on this skin, but for the price and how much it wears, I don't think it's the best. Moving on to the MP5 SD, we have Goss at 36 cents. The detailing and texturing on this skin is impeccable. I think it looks so good for the price. Next for the MP5 SD is Agent at 77 cents. I think the blue and yellow on the skin look great, and I love how shiny it is, but it wouldn't really work on T-side. Finally, for the MP5 SD is Oxide Oasis and Souvenir at $8.85. This skin is expensive, but it looks so good, and I think it's so worth it if you use the MP5 frequently. Moving on to the UMP45, we have Scaffold at $2.20. I really like the texturing on the body and mag, and the blue used throughout is certainly unique. Next for the UMP45 is Indigo at $4.02. This skin is very basic, just plain color, but the color they picked is a really nice color. Finally, for the UMP45 is KO Factory at $6.70. This skin is a bit over budget, but I love the almost cel-shaded art style, and it looks so good. Moving on to the P90, we have Wavebreaker at 69 cents. This skin is honestly pretty underrated. I love the blue and green, and it's so shiny. Next for the P90 is Reef Grief at $2.93. The art on the skin is absolutely beautiful, and the blue complements the green and white so well. Finally, for the P90 is Attack Vector at $5.83. The purple on this skin is really nice, but honestly, it kind of carries the skin. Moving on to the Nova, we have Walnut at $2.07. This skin is clearly pretty basic, but the furniture looks great, as it should. Next for the Nova is Sobek's Bite at $4.54. The gold on this skin is so pretty, and the other various colors throughout also look great. Finally for the Nova is Moon and Libra at $5.98. I'm a big fan of the dark blue used for the skin, but it wears pretty badly. Moving on to the XM1014, we have Watchdog at $1.49. The engravings on the skin are beautiful, and I only recently noticed that the shells are different too. Next for the XM1014 is Entombed at $3.63. I think this skin is really unique, even despite the somewhat common ancient Egyptian theming. Finally, for the XM1014 is Monster Melt at $6.15. This skin kind of reminds me of like Necro Jr. and Angry Mob, and I love how vibrant and colorful it is. Moving on to the Mag 7, we have Heat at 74 cents. I think the Heat skins look absolutely amazing. I'm a sucker for outline details. Next for the Mag 7 is Praetorian at $3.40. I feel like this skin is pretty underrated. I think the gold and red look great. Finally for the Mag 7 is Carbon Fiber and Factory New at $6.55. This skin is pretty basic, but if you're a fan of carbon fiber, I'm sure you'll like it. Moving on to the sawed-off, we have Analog Input at $1.04. This is one of my favorite sawed-off skins. I love the colors and especially the red accenting. Next for the sawed-off is Serenity at $2.21. The blue on this skin is really nice, and I think the artwork is pretty well done. Finally for the sawed-off is Bamboo Shadow at $5.68. The red really stands out against the black and dark green leaves, and it looks great, but it is a bit expensive. Moving on to the FAMAS, we have Yeti Camo at $2.94. Blue and white is one of my favorite color combos, so it's no surprise that I think this skin looks great. Arctic Camo always looks super good. Next for the FAMAS is Roll Cage at $3.18. This is a skin I'm surprised I haven't included yet. It looks rugged and dirty, but somehow also super clean at the same time. Finally for the FAMAS is Bad Trip at $3.60. This skin kind of reminds me of Food Chain, but it's even more colorful, which I absolutely love. Moving on to the Galil, we have Sandstorm at $1.20. This skin is unfortunately pretty basic, but in certain patterns it's incredibly purple and looks really good. Next for the Galil is Stone Cold at $2.47. I have no idea how I missed this skin before. I love the blue on it, and the metallic texturing is great. Finally for the Galil is Blue Titanium in Factory New at $4.86. This skin is basically just Stone Cold without the detail. If you like the cleaner look, this is for you. Moving on to the M4A4, we have Etchlord at $1. This is a pretty simple skin, but I think the etching looks great, and I'm a sucker for clear magazines. Next for the M4A4 is In Living Color at $7.86. This skin is unfortunately over budget, but I love the colors and vibrancy, and it might be worth spending more on the M4. Finally, for the M4A4 is Neo Noir at $9.97. This skin is even more unfortunately over budget, but again, it might be worth spending a little more on a gun you might be using every game. But before we get into the more popular rifles, let's talk about where you can buy these skins. If you're on a budget, avoid the Steam Marketplace entirely. The Steam Marketplace has super high fees, which results in some incredibly steep and unreasonable prices. So, where should you go? Well, that's where third-party websites like skinflow.gg come in. And yes, this is sponsored, but I genuinely actually recommend their site, and I'm not just saying that, I'm being 100% serious, I use it all the time. They're a bot-based site, so everything will go through immediately after buying, selling, or trading, unless the skin is trade locked, of course. Their prices are very reasonable and undercut the Steam Marketplace by a lot, so you'll save a ton of money in the long run. They also support various different platforms and cryptocurrencies such as PayPal, Payoneer, Litecoin, Ethereum, and more, if and when you choose to withdraw your skin flow balance, and if you want to add funds to buy skins, they support even more platforms. They also have this super cool ranking system which rewards you the more you use their site, and they host hourly, daily, weekly, monthly, and yearly giveaways that you can join for free by using tickets, which you get 100 of daily, or get by buying and trading skins. I really recommend you at least give skinflow.gg a chance. I genuinely endorse them, and if you do, make sure to get to their site by using my referral link, which will be on screen, in the pinned comment, and in the description. Or just enter the referral code BEEPY in your profile so that they'll know I sent you. And now let's get back into the skins. Moving on to the M4A1S, we have Rose Hex at $3.40. I've unfortunately gone through all the good M4A1S skins, check out my previous videos, but this skin isn't awful. The colorway is pretty nice. Next for the M4A1S is Briefing at $3.88. This skin is unfortunately pretty simple, but it's really clean and the red accents really pop. Finally, for the M4A1S is Basilisk at $9.29. This skin is definitely over budget, but I love the silver and the engravings look absolutely beautiful. Moving on to the AK-47, we have Crossfade at $1.84. This skin is pretty basic, but I'm so happy we have some actually decent, cheap AK skins. Next for the AK-47 is Wintergreen at $3.53. I love the green used on this skin, especially against the furniture of the AK, it genuinely looks so good. Finally, for the AK-47 is Headshot at $9.29. This skin is definitely over budget on Steam, but if you use a site like skinflow.gg, use code BEEPY by the way, you can find it for around $5. Moving on to the AUG, we have Sid Mead at $2.64. I love the mechanical aesthetic this skin has, it pulls it off pretty well, and the red really pops. Next for the AUG is Chameleon at $4.03. This skin doesn't really have much going on, but the art of the chameleon looks good and it accomplishes its concept fine enough. Finally for the AUG is Eye of Zepems at $6.12. This skin is just a bit over budget, but it's a really nice skin. I love the colorway on it. Moving on to the SG553, we have Berry Gel Coat at 82 cents. This skin is pretty simple, but the red really pops against the gray and brown on this skin, and the outlining looks great. Next for the SG553 is Tiger Moth at 96 cents. I'm not too big a fan of this skin, but I love the patterning on it, and the color scheme is surprisingly nice. Finally, for the SG553 is Integrale at $9.03. This skin is over budget, but it's so worth it. I think this is the best SG skin in the game, honestly. Moving on to the SSG08, we have Rapid Transit at 89 cents. This skin is super clean and looks great. I love how the colors of the train lines stand out against the white. Next for the SSG08 is Xeno at 73 cents. This skin is pretty uninteresting, unfortunately, but I do appreciate the little bits of red and the glittery effect throughout. Finally, for the SSG08 is Blush Pour at $3.06. At first glance, I wasn't a big fan of the skin. It looks a little dirty, but I love the design it has, and it reminds me of hydro dipping. Moving on to the AWP, we have Paw at $2.10. I love the animals throughout, and there are some really cool details and patterns, but unfortunately, it doesn't wear the best. Next for the AWP is Black Nile at $2.65. The texturing on this skin is absolutely amazing, and the fact that it looks good in any float is really nice. Finally, for the AWP is Arsenic Spill at $3.22. This skin is a pretty basic camo, but I like the gray and yellow used. It really helps distance it from being just another boring camo skin. Moving on to the Scar 20, we have Enforcer at 48 cents. This skin is basically Fade on a budget, but regardless, it looks good and the dark body really makes the colors pop. Next for the Scar 20 is Wild Berry at 80 cents. This skin kind of reminds me of Phoenix Blacklight for the Galil. I love the purple and blue used, it looks kinda like cotton candy. Finally, for the Scar 20 is Crimson Web at $3.49. If you've seen one Crimson Web skin, you've seen them all. There's really not much else to say. Moving on to the G3SG1, we have Dream Glade at 35 cents. This skin would be pretty boring if it wasn't for the awesome holographic effect going on in the center. Next for the G3SG1 is Scavenger at 64 cents. This isn't my taste, but if you're a fan of more rugged and worn looking skins, this is definitely for you. Finally, for the G3SG1 is High Seas at $1.03. On the other hand, if you like elegance, this skin is for you. It's basically the definition of ornate. Moving on to the M249, we have Deep Relief at $1.23. I love the colors on this skin, and the topographic design looks so good. It makes such good use of the space on the box magazine. Next for the M249 is Emerald Poison Dart at $2.04. I'd consider this a step down from the previous skin, but it's definitely not bad, and I love the Poison Dart Frog inspiration. Finally, for the M249 is Impact Drill at $3.45. This skin is really basic, but it plays into the construction theme well enough, and the yellow is really bright. And finally, moving on to the Negev, we have Raw Ceramic at 7 cents. This skin is pretty simple, but I think the beige looks so nice against the black. Next for the Negev is Sour Grapes at 40 cents. I like the purple on this skin a lot, but I feel like having nothing on the magazine was kind of a waste. Finally for the Negev is Bratata at $1.95. This skin has a very clear comic book inspiration, and I like the explosion on the magazine. So that's 3 more cheap skins for every gun in CS2 under $5. Let me know what budget you want to see next, or what other video ideas you want to see. If you liked this video, give it a like. If you disliked the video, dislike it. And if you want to know when I release new videos, subscribe. And don't forget to check out SkinFlow. I actually recommend them. Anyway, I am Beepy, and I'll see you in the next video.